probably one of the most honest questions gotten so far. So a young lady wrote, was walking her dog, and once again, I'm emphasizing the again because that's going to come back into this. Once again, the dog lashed out at another dog, and once again, she froze. She froze as in like she didn't know what to do, because other people are around. She's embarrassed, and she feels that by freezing up, she wasn't able to control the dog, and the dog got worse because of the situation, like even amped up its aggression and everything else, or excitement. She didn't really describe it if it was aggression or excitement, but anyways, the dog was amped up beyond her controllability because, in fact, as she froze, other people are around. She said she got embarrassed, and now it's kind of dripped into the dog, and the dog got even more amped up, and she doesn't know what to do. I'm gonna say this because it's been me and one of my clients who's also kind of describe him as a mentor at this point. We were talking about this at length, and I was also talking about it with, I think it was my therapist. But anyways, you're becoming ungrounded when that happens. Okay? Yes, I can understand why the dog is getting more amped up when you freeze. You're becoming ungrounded. You're becoming out of the present. You're getting in your own way. And I feel because the only thing between you and the dog is that leash, first of all. But I guarantee you that dog also feels your energy and therefore goes into a higher drive and could be even a protection mode after that. But in the end, I'm going to describe both things, what to do with the dog, but also to do with you. Because again, chance about growth, going to go on a little philosophical rant here, but you're becoming ungrounded. You're getting out of the present. You're getting in your own way. Okay? I'm going to tell you a quick story because something similar, not to the degree that happened with you, but we were at, I think it was Saturday. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter what day. Anyways, we took the dogs out because it was Ava's birthday. Get out of the car. Usually Ava gets amped up, especially with Ace, in some social setting, just because, again, that's Ava for you. Wife took Ace, got us a table because Ava was so amped up. Did some obedience with her because we're going to use that energy to my benefit. But anyways, got her into the restaurant. She was fine. One little chirp at somebody because they kind of crept up behind her and it was unfair. But other than that, Ava was pitch perfect. As we were leaving, Ava got kind of amped up again. And kind of, I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't thinking about it. She just kind of did her thing. And a quick wave of, I'll go ahead and call it panic, because you're in a social setting. You're not with other people. We're with her mom and a buddy of ours, so they don't count. But you're in public with other people. And that quick wave of embarrassment, panic, shame, whatever word you want to label it, kind of came with me for about 2 seconds and snapped out of it because she got amped up. Next thing you know, I just defaulted to obedience and I just fell into the zone, like literal concentration of her. And what we normally do when that happens, it's like, okay, you're just going to go back to listening to me. Sit. Okay, cool. Let's go. Sit. No, yapping, quiet, little few corrections here and here. We just kind of fell into it and literally zoned out of where we were. It was just back to me and Ava in our little bubble. Okay, that was it. So taking that with you, I can understand that because you're in public, other people are kind of watching, other people hear it, people see it. So panic or embarrassment or shame or, just kind of settled in. But in this case, you got stage fright and you basically froze and the dog got worse. Okay, cool. You know what? Shit happens. So don't get too hard on yourself. When that happens, you have to stay grounded. Okay, you have to stay grounded. You have to be able to keep yourself in that zone. If you're playing a sport, it's being in that zone of concentration where everything else disappears. You're just focusing on what you're doing. So, my invitation to you would be continue working with your dog on obedience and getting the reps in. This way, it becomes habitual to you. Okay, so the better you're at something, the better at you can do it under the gun. In this case, will be out and about. That's on the training side, but on the personal side, you got to breathe and stay present. Okay? I'll go one step further and go ahead and just start, whenever you take your dog out, just know your dog has lashed out before, and I guarantee you it's going to lash out again. Go in it with that, and it doesn't matter if they do it or if they don't. Okay, the dog made a bogey. It lashed out. So what? Guarantee you it's not going to do it. It's going to do it again at some point. It's a fucking dog. Okay, as much as you love your dog, it's still a dog at the end of the day. Okay, you can only get better. But some days they make a bogey and shit happens. Okay, so as long as you're out with your dog, just expect them to make those mistakes. That's why you're there. You want your dog to actually make mistakes so this way they can get better. You want to keep getting better, so go ahead and keep freezing up, but work on not having your brain shut down. Okay, so when this happens again, your dog lashes out is going, okay, take a minute, be aware of it, acknowledge it. Your dog's going crazy. Okay, it's not the end of the world. As long as you're able to hold the leash and control your dog and they're not getting into a fight with another dog, so what? Yes, you don't want your dog to do that. Yes, maybe other people are looking at you, but I guarantee you this, no one gives a shit. No one. So, stay grounded, breathe deeply, take a second, and just relax. All right, she's doing that. And this is where I keep saying just keep working on obedience because that's where you want to default to. Okay, she's acting up. Hey, no, come, sit. Okay, cool. If she ends up breaking a sit, correct her. No, sit. She's looking at you. She's not hyped up. Cool. Yes, boom. Then you just keep going. And that's exactly what I did with Ava. Again, it's just, you're just defaulting to what you know best of what you've always done, and that's just having good obedience. Okay? But when the dog sees you're able to breathe and you're able to think, you're unemotional, you're being very logical and reasoning of what you're doing, the dog will respond much better. Because when you stop breathing and you stop becoming, when you're ungrounded, the dog is now going to be in protective mode because now they're going to see themselves as the alpha, the superior towards you, and they got to protect you because you won't be able to, defend yourself. Because again, when they're amped up like that, it's fight or flight. And same thing with you. When they're like that, you become into a state of fight or flight. Okay, so stay grounded, breathe. As athletes say, when you're with your dog, stay in that zone. And the only way to do that is to shut off your brain, stop getting in your way, okay, and practicing more obedience is going to help you with that for sure, okay, and then also just understanding and remembering that, you know what, it's a dog, it's done it before, it's done it again, okay, it's like, and this is why I said earlier, I'm going to say the again word and emphasize it. Hit a bad shot, and I playing golf, and I hit a bad shot, and I'm like, fuck, I hit into that fucking bunker again. Listen to that verbiage, and just like the question you came in with was that word again. When you start emphasizing that word again, you're bringing into all the other times that you failed or that the dog has failed in what it was doing. It's like, okay, the dog lashed out again. I froze again. Don't bring all that previous experience, good, bad, or ugly, indifferent, with you into that moment. Okay, that's when your ego is getting into play. Your ego is always going to stay in the past or in the imaginative future. You got to stay in the present. The only way to do that is just shut off your brain, use your senses, and breathe. When you're concentrating on breathing, there's no way that your brain can be in other places. Okay, so when you're with your dog, there's my growth for you. Stay in your present, be with your dog. Don't be thinking about work, the weekend, something that happened earlier in the week, something with your relationship. No, just be with your dog and be present. Enjoy that moment. If they happen to lash out or do something you don't want, take a breath. Okay. But default back to obedience, and that could be, to a sit or a down. And if they don't comply, easily correct. Once they do it, cool, we can keep going forward. And if they do it again, you just start over. And it's okay. Dogs are meant to fail enough times until they get it. Okay? It's like a test. It's all in your outlook. You can either take a test and totally fucking bomb it and say, wow, I don't know shit. Or you can look at a test and say, hey, this is just what I need to improve on. And that's the same thing with the dog when they, do something you don't want. That's just, and those corrections are just telling them that is something I don't want. And you're building that communication until they understand what you want. And that's it. So don't get too hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. End of the day, breathe. The dog's going to breathe because you're not so stressed out, overwhelmed either. And you guys will both work together. And that's all dog training is you and a dog figuring shit out together. Okay? Good luck. Talk to you next time. Done.